Hello. Do you remember yesterday that we went through a few things about the major scale in the video that I posted on YouTube? Well, today we are right back at the major scale. And if you watched the video that I posted yesterday, you know that I talked about steps when you play the major scales. I talk about whole step and half steps. And I said on the guitar, when you play half step, that means you start from one fret and then you play the next fret up or down. You don't skip a fret. When you do that, you play a semitone, which is half tone or semitone half tone. But if you skip a fret up or down, then you play a whole tone, okay, on the guitar. So, and I told you in the major scale there are two half steps, and then they are between 3 and 4, 7 and 8, because in the major scale you have seven tones, 7 notes. Then I remember telling you that it's better to learn your major scale by numbers instead of by letter names, so you can apply because you can apply those numbers on all the major scales, not just one major scale, such as the C major scale. So we need to remember that when we play the major scale, we have to play a half step between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. Okay? And the major scale is a whole step. That means we skip a fret. So let's play the major scale on one string. We're gonna play it on the 6th string. Okay, starting with the note of F. Okay, that means we're gonna play the scale in the key of F. All right, all the way up. We're going to play all the way up on the 6th string, okay? We have to remember, when we get to 3 and 4, we have to play half step. That means the next fret up. We're not going to skip a fret, okay? Okay, let's go. Right here, F. 1, 2, 3, half step. 4, 5, 6, 7. Between 7 and 8, half step. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's F major scale on the 6th string of the guitar on one string, and you can do this on all 6 strings. Move up. The only thing you need to remember is when you get to 3 and 4, you have to play the next fret. You don't skip a fret. So then you play half step, semitone. Same thing when you get to 7, 8, it's a half step. Then you have your major scale. And you can do it on all strings. On on all 6 strings. But now you're saying, what if we just start playing on one string and to the next string down? How you going to figure out what to play? Well, it is the same thing. You have to remember the numbers 1 to 7 between. You play the notes by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then when you get to 3 and 4, you play half step. When you get to 7 and 8, you play half step. That's all. But you also, even though you playing the scales by numbers, you also have to know the names of the notes, the letter names of the notes. So when you go from string to string, you know what note you're playing. I have E here. Okay, if I'm going to play the scale of E, okay, that's an open string here. Let me give you an example. Okay, this is E. I just play E. So let's say I'm going to play E major scale. Alright? So we know that there's a half step between 3 and 4 and a half step between 7 and 8. Now, if I start with E here, okay, I'm going to, if I need to play the E major scale, and I start with the open E here, can I play F on the, can I play F on the first fret? No. You know why? Because this is, when I play, this is 1 and I play 2. So between 1 and 2, it's not a half step. So if I play E here on the first string and to F on the first fret, that's EF. Alright, that's a half step. So I don't need, in the major scale, the 1 to 2 is not a half step, it's a whole step. So what I need to do, in order to play the whole step, I play E, then I play F sharp. Now you have a whole step. Okay? So you have, what you need to do, you need to practice. You need to practice. Know your notes. Whatever note you play on the guitar, you need to know what it is. You need to know the I'm talking about especially your major scale. We're going to go to other scale, especially the Dorian scale, from which we're going to take the 5 notes for the minor pentatonic scale. But that's for later, because I don't want to confuse you. Now the only thing we're studying now is the major scale, because later on we're going to study the major pentatonic scale, and we're going to need the major scale to get our 5 notes form to play the major pentatonic scale. So the main thing to remember when you play your major scale, once again, it is, remember your half steps where they are located: 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. there's another way to learn the major scale even better, but I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to confuse you. Now you need to go and practice your major scale on the guitar. You don't have to practice any other scale for now. Just practice your major scale. Just play with it. Just play with it. You will find your notes to play the major scale. You just have to get into it, into learning, into understanding what you're doing. Okay?